Good evening. Welcome to the Pullman City Council meeting, or rather a warm good evening. Welcome to the City Council meeting for this Tuesday, August 18th. And Dee, would you please call roll?
Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember McCall.
Here.
Councilmember Parks.
Here.
Councilmember Records.
Here.
Councilmember Sorensen.
Here.
Councilmember Weller.
Present.
Councilmember Wright.
Here.
Brandon Chapman notified us that he could not be here tonight. Do I hear a motion to excuse?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you very much. Under announcements tonight, you can support Palouse Habitat for Humanity by joining this year's virtual Beans and Jeans online fundraising event. Silent auction items are up for bid right now through August 22nd, culminating in a 15-minute Facebook live event, 7 p.m. on August 22nd. For details, just go to the Palouse Habitat for Humanity website. If you haven't responded already, again, the census, we are not where we need to be. For Whitman County, we're at 59% response rate, Pullman at 57.2. We need to get people to go online. It only takes less than 5 minutes to fill out the census. You're invited tomorrow to a virtual town hall meeting in response to COVID-19, 3 o'clock. Again, that's 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Panelists from the agency, representatives from Whitman County Public Health, Pullman Regional Hospital, Washington State University, City of Pullman. You can send questions in advance to towngown@pullman-wa.gov. You can watch it on YouTube. Pullman Farmers Market is open every Wednesday from 3:30 to 6:30 at the Brailsford WSU Visitor Center. I have a couple of proclamations tonight. One is that we have the International Overdose Awareness Day, which is the last day of the month in August. And one of the things that happens, unfortunately, too frequently, is that there are accidental overdoses from old medications. And we want you to know that you have a great way of disposing of old medications or any kinds of drug. At the Pullman Police Department lobby, there's a special receptacle there. It's open 24/7. You can drop off, which is far better than ever trying to flush it down the toilet, because that fouls up our wastewater treatment plant and the chemicals for the water and all that. So use always the prescription disposal at the Pullman Police Department. And also the month of September is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. And it's a real sad statistic when you say there have been 24% increase in pediatric cancer cases over the last 40 years, equal to 43 children per day, where over 15,000 children a year are diagnosed with cancer in the United States. So we want to make sure that the month of September, everyone knows, is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. We have several presentations tonight. Our first presentation will be from the Pullman Police Department on fireworks enforcement. Gary Jenkins.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. I provided for you a memo listing the 15 fireworks related calls that the police department responded to between the time period of 7 a.m. on June 28th to 7 a.m. on July 6th. It's the second lowest number of calls that we responded to in that time period since 2006, when the fireworks ordinance was adopted. And that's my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? We'll have another report on fireworks from Mike Heston in a moment. Nathan Weller.
Thank you, Mayor Johnson and Chief. So I know fireworks are still seeming to crop up after 4th of July. Can you, are there statistics about the rest of the year with fireworks, or is that in general under noise complaints?
It's difficult to pin those down because we sometimes will get the call as possible fireworks. We'll also get calls as possible gunfire. So it's difficult to say what is really causing the noise. I know anecdotally there are some fireworks that are used throughout the year. And then when we get called, it's, of course, there's a time delay between the time somebody calls and our officers get there. And so actually finding someone with the fireworks is another difficult task.
Okay, thank you.
Seemed to be, Nathan, quite a few fireworks on December 31st this past year. I think when they have a vaccine that actually works for COVID-19, it'll be worthy of fireworks. I mean, I just thought we'll figure out something for that. Okay. All right. Any other questions of Chief? Okay. With that, we go to Chief Heston for the Fire Department fireworks update.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. So we thought it'd be a little more action this year. There we go. We thought we'd be a little more action with everybody being home with COVID, but it was still pretty green out. So, and as you know, it got moved from Sunnyside Park to the campus to out in the just north edge of town. So, and we still utilize District 12 to help us cover those fireworks out there because we don't have any trucks big enough that can go off road and take care of those things. So we still work in cooperation with that. So most of our calls, we only had 3. So 2 small fires and a little larger one. All of them were on July 4th. We had one up on Turner right before 9 o'clock. And it was just a small fire, legally purchased fireworks. It was extinguished before we got on scene. And nothing big, but we counseled the residents on wetting the area down before launching anything. Second one was a little larger fire and some juniper bushes up on Terraview. And it was rocking pretty good. We had flames up to 15 feet in the air when we got there. They tried to put it out with some extinguishers, but as you know, juniper bushes burn pretty hot and it's tough to extinguish, especially without getting hurt. So we had to put that one out. Fireworks caused, but obviously nobody confessed to that one. So, and that was a joint response between Pullman and District 12, which on fireworks nights, strategically, they place themselves around the town and ourselves as well. So we're in position to respond quickly. Third fire was back on Turner. It was right before midnight. There was some folks shooting fireworks off on the backyard of another street off on Dean Street. And it was in a tree. It was pretty much out when they got there. And then they would continue to shoot fireworks off after midnight. And then we went over and talked to them and counseled them again on doing that. So this year we had some preventative actions. We continue with radio messages, some social media, putting flyers in the packets when people buy the fireworks at the stands. So as you know, we inspect the stands each year, and then we also instruct the people selling fireworks to instruct their customers about proper disposal and that no fireworks are to be allowed on school properties and all those places, trying to cut that back. And then we have our crews on how to identify illegal fireworks. And then we patrol both the 3rd and the 4th constantly around town, just taking a look at different things, talking to folks, interacting with the public, which was very helpful and well received. So that's the end of my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions of Mike Heston? Okay, not hearing any. Okay, the next report is the Fire Department Annual Report. So, Chief Mike Heston.
Thank you, Mayor. So it's my honor and privilege to present our 2019 Annual Report for the Pullman Fire Department. So we had an outstanding year last year. We met several goals in staffing, training, certifications, and getting some equipment. So as you know, staffing was increased at the career and reserve levels, which enhanced our response to emergencies and which allowed our stations to independently respond more than they have in the past. And you'll see some of that reflected in some of the statistics. We were able to increase our level of firefighter 1 and 2 training and certification through the federal grant that we received. And we had numerous members attend the academy, which doesn't cost hardly anything. And they developed some programs which helped improve our service delivery for the department as well as enhance the safety of our members. And then we also purchased a couple of hydraulic cots for our ambulances with help with lifting. And that greatly minimizes our reduction to back injuries as well. So in your packet on page 4, if you're following along. So we have the total responses for the year, and they're not a whole lot different from the year before, so we're pretty close. Even in the call percentages, it's still EMS 73%, 23%, fire 27%. And if you look, like the incident chart off the right, EMS rescues 1,870 calls, but a lot of those calls below it in service calls and good intent all contribute to EMS calls. So that's how you get 1943 out of that. So I have to kind of break that down, but that's how the state likes us to report that. Turning to page 5, station responses. And this is where the increased staffing has really helped us with station responses. So if you look at the chart, bar chart to the right, in 2015, between 15 and 16, we reduced the difference in station responses by 34%. And that's when we added 3 staff that year, back in 15, if you recall. And then if you look in 19, we reduced it another 30% difference between the 2 stations responding. And that's with the changes we did with the reserves, putting them on shift, as well as adding 2 more staff. So that's where we really see that. So that greatly enhances our safety and the capability of our crews on scene, allows us to mitigate the emergencies a lot faster, and then reduces unnecessary response, and obviously better utilization of resources. So we definitely appreciate that. Turning to page 6, a couple of charts on time of day and day of week. So this is all predictable response times. We don't see any big changes there. And then on the bottom, we have the mutual aid responses, which are pretty much mostly EMS responses that we do by contract. So Fire District 12 and police take up the majority of that for us. Turning to page 7 is a breakdown of the total fire medical calls. So this is pretty similar to last year as well. If you look on the right in the blue and the orange pie areas, it's the College Hill and WSU campus, and that's still 45% of our total call volume. So keeps us pretty active with that. Turning to page 8, again, the fire response is similar to 18. And down on the chart below, the most common fire calls are in buildings and cooking inside of buildings. So cooking still remains to be our number 1 cause of fire. As a matter of fact, we had another one today, which the crews got there and got it out pretty quick. So, and then on the bottom right is the false alarms, which we still go on quite a few of those. And a lot of those are smoke alarms in residential as well, due to batteries that have just ran out of life for people to take them out or don't change them. So we see that a lot. Page 9 has the fire responses for the city. Sunnyside Hill, 7% didn't quite make it up to the red area there. Apologize for that. But overall, if you look at the WSU campus and College Hill, again, those percentages add up to 63% of our fire calls. So they have the most fire alarms in our response areas. So that would stand true for that. Page 10 has the fire loss in salvage information. So we had a total fire loss in 19 of $476,000, almost $500,000, and the total property value that we responded to was over $3 million. So overall, that's a net savings of $2.5 million that the fire department protected by putting these fires out quickly and with the suppression systems that we had in there. Our largest fire we had this year was on May 5th, or last year was on May 5th. And it was $380,000 in a commercial building, and the building was worth $1.8 million. So that we saved $1.4 million of that. So, you know, just it was a team effort by quick response. And then the things that we do in that particular building had some fire protection measures in it for fire resistive coating on the ceiling that we required and fire sprinklers. So those are the things that help protect and keep fires at a minimum. So I know sometimes the business owners kind of grumble over that because of the cost, but it definitely saves them in the long run. Turning to page 11 has our emergency medical response. Again, similar calls to last year. Patients transported about 52% of the time when we respond, and about over half of those are ALS paramedic type calls that need to provide our services to. As mentioned before, we retrofitted a couple of ambulances with hydraulic cots, which really help. And we got a second CPR cardiac device, which helps with the CPR. We put it at station 2, and there's a picture of it off to the right. So that really increases the safety. It enhances how we do CPR compressions, and eliminates somebody standing up should be transported to CPR on the go. So those are one of the devices I'd like to get more of in the future as well. One of the most exciting calls we had over the year, of course, was the flood back in May. So everybody remembers that, I'm sure, where we had over 20 people that we had to rescue, infant medical patient, without anybody hurt. So the call type below for medical calls below, so the first 7 columns on the left make up 60% of our call volume much. And it's broken up pretty even 50-50 by elderly and college age students. And the pie chart down below is pretty common response as we had the year before. And if you notice, College Hill and WSU campus is about 39% of our call volume for that. Turning to page 12, talks about wildland mobilization. So last year we didn't go on that many MOBs, only on 7. So most of it's due to quick air support they're doing, the change in their tactics where they're getting air resources out really, really quick. So that's what's super helpful. In the city, we typically don't have many fires. So knock on wood, it stays pretty green. So, and the city does a good job of maintaining, keeping the weeds down. And if there's an issue that's identified, we try and jump on it pretty quick. Turning to page 13 is personnel. So council authorized hiring 2 people in 19. So we put those to work. That brings us to 32 members responding on shift. And we also acknowledge the long-time retirement of Michael Chapman, one of our reserves for 27 years. So most of you probably know Michael. So still working at WSU and their daycare center. So we really appreciate his service. We had numerous people attain some certifications at the National Fire Academy. And then for the first time, we utilized an intern for the whole semester and helped us put together an educational video on workout programs. And it was specifically designated towards women as well, too, and different techniques to use. So she did a great job putting that together. It was part of her program that she did. So we really appreciated that. Turning on page 14, fire prevention investigations. So they were busy as everybody else was. They did over 147 construction plans, and 25% of those were up on campus. A couple of the big projects was the Global Animal Health Phase 2 and the WSU Plant Sciences Building, and then the Hills on Grant a whole bunch of times. The Deputy Fire Marshal, Tony Nutman, he attended the National Fire Academy and got his plans examiner with that, and so he can help with plan reviews, which really helps now. He kept him pretty busy as he's done this year. Wow. And then the prevention office, they're moving towards paperless like everybody else and plan reviews and doing inspections. So that's been good. And they've been still proactive with dealing with fraternity inspections and making that happen. As you see in my notes there, we went from houses first time. When we do inspections in fraternities and sororities usually pass the first time. Fraternities are a little bit more challenging. And we went from 9 the first year to last year, 2 years ago, we did 12. And then last year we went from 12 to 20, all passed. The fraternities passed the first time around, which was awesome. So that's just by working with them ahead of time, helping them out, so getting the information out. So they've been really awesome to work with for that. So page 15 is public education. So as usual, we've been active in the community and at the fire station doing our normal stuff. And then one of the unique things we got to do is to commemorate a ceremonial traveling flag for a line of duty death from a fire captain back in Maine. It was traveling through the country, stopped off and made some firefighters on duty sign it and take it over to Moscow and send it all through. So that was kind of cool to do that. So had no idea who this was, but it worked out well. And then the last part on training, page 16 and 17. It was a banner year for training. Chief Lamoureux did an outstanding job. Through a grant, again, we trained up our folks at 100%, got them to firefighter 1 level, the ones that didn't have it, hazmat and firefighter 2. And we're working towards the reserve staff as well, so they get to help the same kind of training. And then we had some leftover money from that, and we used that for some fire instructor classes. So through the training, we're continuing to look for ways to develop and train our officers and prepare them for promotion as much as we can. Developing an officer training program for these folks. We've got a 3-year program that we're putting in place now, which includes all these things, and also some fire officer 1 and 2. And the grant that you're looking at later tonight, it keeps this program going with the fire officer 1 and 2. And then we also throw in budgeting and finance, and also to help them through that part as well. It's been a great program. And then the Reserve Recruit Academy continues to produce high quality firefighters. So they're doing a great job. They get hired after they serve our time with us as well. We've hired some in the past. And then we've changed their work shift, so they're working alongside with the career folks too, which has helped with our staffing. Obviously, we have the contract we fulfill first with our career, but anything outside of that, we augment the staffing with that. So they've helped out and done a great job. And then recruitment we haven't had any issues really with recruitment for folks. We have a waiting list in the last couple of years with reserves, so that's been really good for us. And then we continue to do some multi-company drills with our area fire departments, Colfax, District 12, work with Moscow from time to time. And then the training officers also get together from the Tri-Cities area, Quad Cities area, actually Pullman, Moscow, Lewiston, Clarkston. So we get together and work. So, and the WSU has been very supportive of helping us with training. Bill Gardner, PD, lets us use our training room out there because some of the large ones we really appreciate. That concludes my report, and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, questions of Chief Heston. Okay, Nathan?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, Chief. I was trying to look up, I know I've brought this up several times before over the years, the majority of public safety calls, I believe with police, but I know with fire, is on the campus core or involving students. And I think I started bringing this up about 5 years ago regarding an agreement for additional funding for our public safety. And I know each time we've discussed it, I've been told, well, WSU is a great partner, and I agree. But I do feel I believe it creates a challenge for public safety in general, and a drain on some resources. So I'm bringing it up again. I know there's an agreement between Harvard and their city. And I know Mike is on here, and I still would like us to look at this. I understand we have a good relationship, but I'm bringing it up again, and I will probably bring it up next year, the year after, and the year after. So just letting you know that. I do want to mention Mike being on the Institutional Biosafety Committee up at WSU. Provides unique information for the biotech and the hazards that are up there. And he's been on that for longer than I have. So thank you, Mike, for that. And lastly, I'm sure Mr. Chapman saying this, but he was actually my daycare counselor way back at Community Child Care. So I just embarrassed him. So, but let him know, congratulations. Thank you.
You bet, Nathan.
Okay. Other comments or questions? I don't know. Yeah, Dan?
Chief, thank you for that report. This is more of a question for kind of current events, and I wondered if you might give us an update on kind of, there's a fire going on in Clarkston, and is Pullman kind of part of the call to respond to that, or do you anticipate that, or what is the status of that fire currently?
Yeah, that fire, Dan, isn't that big, so there's enough county resources that are local that are going to that, so we didn't have to go to that. They got some air support on that finally. They got state mobilized, so that's helping. It's just such steep canyon and steep property down there and rocks. It's so hard for just regular firefighters down in there. So they brought in some hand crews from the state. So if we got into some structures and got up towards Colton, John would definitely, Chief Damon would definitely give us a call and we would go help. They pretty much are taking care of it down there. So,
all right, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Chief Heston. Excellent annual report. With that, we're now to D, consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to read by title only?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? And with that, Laura McAloon, our city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Your consent agenda consists of a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the regular meeting of August 11, 2020 and approve them as submitted. A motion to approve disbursements for accounts payable checks numbered 1000 100711 totaling $244,254.92. A motion to approve disbursements for accounts payable checks numbered 100712 through 100729, electronic wires 624, 626, 627, 629, 638, 631, and payroll direct deposits 63084 through 63376 totaling $1,204,280.05, and a motion to accept the award of assistance to firefighters grant for fiscal year 2019 in the amount of $164,724.80 for training and mobile radios.
Any item the council would like out for discussion? Seeing none, consent agenda consists of items 1 through 4. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, with that, we now go to the regular agenda. This is a resolution designating Axon Enterprise sole source provider for body-worn cameras, in-car cameras conducted electrical weapons. This is one thing that I just want to point out because there's been a lot of stories about body-worn cameras, and you look at Gary Jenkins' memo to all of us that they started in 2012 with our Pullman Police Department body-worn cameras, where other departments hadn't got into it, including many here in the state of Washington. Gary's taken a lead on that, and I know that he had a backing from the police guild on that, and it's really paid off in the long run. Just recently, Moscow's decided to go to body-worn cameras. I was online with the U.S. Conference of Mayors and listening to the mayor of Houston, and they were talking about going to body-worn cameras there, and he was talking about how many millions it was going to cost to do that. So, Gary, I got a couple of items tonight, so here's item number 1. Gary Jenkins.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Before you tonight is a resolution designating Axon as sole source provider for certain equipment. As the mayor mentioned, we started using body-worn cameras in 2012. We mandated it for our patrol detectives and code enforcement officers in 2013. We selected Taser as our provider, and Taser now goes by the business name of Axon, after we conducted a critical review of the products that were available at the time. When we implemented body-worn cameras, we discontinued use of our outdated in-car camera system. In 2015, Council designated Taser, again now Axon, as sole source provider for body-worn cameras and Tasers. This resolution would add in-car cameras to the items we purchased from Axon as sole source. The sole source designation is important for this technology for compatibility with our technology tools, uniformity, training, digital evidence storage and management, and system protocols. In 2017, we resumed the use of in-car cameras when Axon in-car cameras became available, and that supplements our body-worn cameras for additional transparency and accountability. The Axon in-car camera system is compatible with our current technology and systems and is the same high-quality product and excellent customer service we receive from Axon. Staff recommends adoption of the resolution to update the Axon body-worn camera and Taser sole source designation to also include in-car cameras.
Questions of Chief Jenkins? Or comments? Okay, Nathan.
Just a comment, because I know Chief doesn't talk about, neither of the chiefs talk about themselves nearly as much as they should. Very humble. Chief Jenkins, you've been a great leader. This has nothing to do with Axon. I just wanted to make a comment. You've been a great leader with the COVID meetings on Tuesdays. And I just wanted to recognize that your leadership does not go unnoticed. So just wanted to tell you, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions on this one? If not, do I hear a motion on this resolution?
So moved. Second.
Moved and second. Laura, would you please read the resolution?
Resolution number R-57-20, a resolution designating Axon Enterprise Incorporated as a sole source provider for body-worn cameras, in-car cameras, and conducted electrical weapons.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Go now to item number 2, another resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement between the City of Pullman and Axon Enterprises. Once again, Chief Jenkins.
Thank you, Mayor. Our current 5-year agreement with Axon is expiring. Before you is a proposal for a new 5-year agreement with Axon for body-worn cameras, in-car cameras, and tasers. The main elements of this agreement are camera replacements every 2.5 years, updated docking stations and related hardware, digital evidence storage and management system, auto redaction software, integration with our CAD system to automatically tag videos with case numbers, software licensing, new tasers and taser training equipment. The 5-year contract totals $386,954 at $77,391 a year. Staff recommends adoption of the resolution authorizing execution of the Axon agreement.
Questions of the chief on this one? Eileen McCall. There you go.
Sorry, I had the wrong mouse. Has the redaction software helped with sorting out the public records requests? Because I know that that's been a challenge.
It does. It's the technology has increased significantly over the past few years. And I think it's as far as the time spent on preparing videos for public records release, that's probably cut it down by at least a half, if not 2/3. So the redaction software is excellent.
Great.
Wonderful to hear. Any other questions? Yes, Pat Wright.
So the cost on this is incurred starting in 2021, or is that an item for this year's budget?
It actually will be, the first payment would be made shortly after council agrees to it. We get a discount on our contract by renewing a little bit early. It'll save us about $17,000 rather than if we waited till 2021. It would cost us more. So this agreement would actually start as soon as we receive our shipment, which could be as early as next month.
Okay, thank you. Just wondering.
Any other questions? None. Do I hear a motion on this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Laura, would you read the resolution, please?
Resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement between the City of Pullman and Axon Enterprise Incorporated with the purpose of securing body cameras, in-car cameras, storage accessories, and conducted electrical weapons, tasers.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now comes to new business. I have not been notified of any public new business to come before us. Is there any new business from the council? Seeing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With that, have a good evening and try and stay cool.